The time has come.
And so have... No, wait.
Wrong game.
Damn it!
This is it. You made it this far. Time to finish the job and get some.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Wait, also wrong game. Fuck.
Okay, what was the job we're here for? Because all we've really done is just shoot lots of religious fanatics.
Yeah. Look at that. Final level. Leon Zawada and Simon Rance. Probably not the best one to go out on, I'm just gonna say, but that's less for the level design and more for what we have to deal with. Oh, yeah. This is El Oscuro. Or I should say El Oscuro, because I'm pretty sure he's voiced by Dave Oshry. That was actually like his Twitter, I think, display name, I think, for the longest fucking time.
If the Queen actually does die anytime soon, that's going to be a really unfortunate way to go out.
Of what, just being in this game?
Well, just the fact that this is called the Queen's Funeral March. Just
Yeah.
Ooh, bad timing, bad timing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shit's been going on with the Queen over in England.
Yeah.
It just... Yeah, I think we don't have all the time or thought in the world to like put together a decent Weekend at Bernie's joke for her, so we're just gonna cut it a break. Anyway, there's a mural of all the developers. One final bit of goodwill it tries to generate.
No, see, we're real people. Think about that before you trash our game.
Oh, believe me, you are real people. That makes what I'm gonna do. Actually, no. It makes what I'm gonna say not any more harder. I'm still gonna talk shit about the things you fucked up on, but praise the things you did good on, because that's ultimately is what's important.
Yeah,
As rough as it is, we have been looking at a game that has served as a foundational groundwork with a revival of an old style of FPS game.
Yeah, the template. As I said, basically, okay, let's do it again, but good this time.
Yeah, it's like the Jodorowsky's Dune, except it actually came out of video games.
Jodorowsky's Dune, except no one wanted to see this.
and the people and the major creative people that were involved in it still went on to do the same shit that they would have done anyway.
And more to the point, where the fuck was Pink Floyd in all this?
That is a very good question.
Toto, where are you? You could have been on the soundtrack, guys.
Yeah, just you could have helped, like, with your like reputation. You could have propelled Andrew Holsholt to stardom even faster than he did in the several years.
Get it together, Toto. Jesus.
Anyway, the El Oscuro fight, this first phase follows a lot of the same principles as it did in the original, but less bullshit. Which, you know, that's a running theme with a lot of things in this game if we're talking about the bad parts of Rod 95.
Yeah.
In that,
as I said, not easier, just fairer. Oh, fuck right off with that shit.
Doug does not approve. But yeah, like, the thing, like, throughout that entire fight is that El Oscuro's gimmick is that he fires projectiles that are based along the same properties as whatever rocket weapon you're using. But in the original, it basically worked in a way where it's like, if you fired, he fired. It was basically like a Darklink fight, but in first-person shooter form and bullshit. Here, it's more like, whichever weapon you have equipped, he'll just attack normally, but his projectile will change to reflect that. So, it's a lot more manageable trying to get your hits in without also suffering for it.
Oh no, he's turned into a boss from the original Prey.
Yeah. Admittedly, he's not a centipede made out of his own head this time.
Yeah.
Also, because the original Rods had its own bad ending, and they didn't want to recreate that shit, they let you nuke LA.
Get back to the chopper.
Unexpected, I'm gonna say.
Get back here. You're dead.
Even El Oscuro seems upset by it. I don't know why. We did his job for him.
No, I wanted to be the one to blow this shit up.
Now for the real fight. with a song that I have personally inserted in here because it really should have been in this game in the first place, at least in the single player. It is the song that originally plays, like, when you get to the second form of El Oscuro in the original, called Where Is It? That's like... Look, the music in this remake is fucking great. But if there's one thing about the implementation I have to, like, knock, like, about it, is that despite recreating, I'm pretty sure, every track that the original game soundtrack had, they did not find a use for every single one of them in the game, or at least not in the single player. Where Is It does not play in this section, nor does Hellero in any of the boss fights. They don't even find a place, they don't even find a level where you can listen to Havana Smooth, which did get a new version, and it is fucking sick.
Oh, this is definitely much more fitting of a final boss kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, and fortunately, unlike Rod 95, getting the good ending to beat this game is not contingent on you destroying all of El Oscuro's larvae. Because these facehugger-looking eggs are respawning over time. And also, even in the original game, having to hunt down for every single egg, a couple of which I'm pretty sure you could only get if you, like, did the old-school rocket jump method to get to the specific location. Like, we don't have to worry about that here, because that shit sucked.
Yeah, because there's fucking hundreds of them.
Yeah! Also, kind of less terrifying dealing with this final form of El Oscuro, where it's not just a giant version of just a giant version of Tom Hall's face in a hooded robe, just chasing after you.
Yeah, remember that.
Yeah. Yes, that's your other trivia for this LP. The original El Oscuro, played by Tom Hall, the dude that wrote the Doom Bible and essentially left it because no one was having any of his shit with, like, trying to create, like, an epic, like, story and, like, background-heavy lore for Doom. When everyone was like, nah, man, we just want to make a game with guns and you shoot demons.
I mean, the original name for Doom was going to be It's Weird and It's Pissed Off.
Yeah. And also, here's the little ending of Hellero, because it's only fitting. Mm-hmm. Sure you are.
And so full of organs.
Mm-hmm. Lacking in rib cages, though. So there we go. We beat El Oscuro.
The larvae seem happy about it.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, that fight's alright. Again, with the caveat of, if you're not trying to do something stupid like play on Ludicrous. Because some of his attacks are just kind of a pain to really deal with. Like, I actually died during the recording of this, is the thing. But you obviously didn't see that. That's just because I was already doing the fun editing shit that I did with showing off with the bad ending. But it's the sort of thing where, like... Oh yeah, also, enemies killed 10 out of 2. What's up with that? Don't mind it.
You thinking about it? Don't think about it.
Yeah, the scoreboard's been kind of losing it these last couple levels. But some of the stuff that he does with just barfing out a ton of larvae, or even like his telekinetic pull, pulling you towards him, ends up being like the biggest pain out of it. In fact, I even remember going back to Civi one more time, because he was that crazy person I was talking about trying to play through the game on Ludicrous. And I think what he did was that he just cheesed this final boss by somehow getting himself to the outer edge of the arena across the lava lake and just stayed out of range of his telekinetic pole and just kept shooting machine gun bullets at him until he died.
Bet that didn't take long.
No, probably like 8 minutes or something.
Renders it useless.
Yeah. Don't play this game on Ludicrous. I was smart to stop halfway through.
I just got one thing to do first.
Yeah, do it, Doug. After all, you were the one that killed him in the first place. Heck, you killed all the bosses because you're the designated person for that.
Tanky man.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, here's the credits with this song. Yeah, rip.
So, did he catch El Oscuro's head on the other side?
Hopefully. Even now, I'm hoping that it's just like... I don't know, I forget. Do you ever see Shin Mazinger Z?
Bits of it. I've seen the compilations that everyone's uploaded.
Okay. Because what I have in my head is the one bit where Boss and his two cronies are like, as part of a plan, they're like just humiliating Schneider. You know, like the undead.
Yeah, they just start playing Keep Away with his head.
Yeah, which was another bit from like the original manga, just playing soccer with it, and as like his head is rolling down the hill with the body trying to catch up, he just screams out, "I am a tragic character!"
That's right.
Yeah, they're the familiar names: Dave Autry, Leon Zawada, Daniel Hijazi. Yeah.
I imagine we're going to see those particular names about 30 other times throughout this credit sequence.
Yeah, something like that. As well
William
as all
Davis,
these other
I
people.
loved him in the X-Files.
Yeah. But also, just look at this. You can see like these like Polaroid, like these fake Polaroids in the background, just kind of showing like stuff from development, like that early version of the Rise of the Triad logo for the remake, in which where it was way closer in style to the font of the original game.
Kind of reminds me a bit of the Tomb Raider games, though. That might just be like the sand in the background.
Kinda, yeah. And also just because the font choice, both games originated from the 90s anyway.
Yeah.
It'd be fitting for the style. So, with seeing this whole game in action, what you think? What are your final thoughts, I suppose?
I would say that having seen the whole game, because as I said before, I never really got much further than maybe halfway through the second chapter. My original impressions back then were that it was an okay game, sort of like a mid-tier, mediocre but not in a bad way kind of shooter.
Yeah.
And that's very much remained the same throughout it.
Even with the benefit of today's technology, like ironing out a lot of the
like
low frame rate rows.
You mean today's technology making it playable?
Yeah. Well, not to discredit the fact that I was still somehow able to play through this in 2013, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think I probably played it around about 2014, 2015. I think I got it on sale. At some point when it was
right.
When it would have been about 50% off or something. So my machine then probably would have been from about 2013, 2012 anyway.
Yeah.
Playing it at the time wasn't too much of a chore for me, because I was used to playing games on lower settings anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, like, I see it as like a very much a solid mid-tier game, sort of like the sort of thing you turn to because it's on sale and you heard someone said good things about it, or because you've played all the big names and you're like, well, what do I want to do next? Because I'm bored to the back teeth with Doom, and I've gone through all the modern retro shooters. What do I do next? Oh, yeah. Rise of the Triad. I forgot that existed.
Yeah, that's definitely like the best context to try and like take a look at this game again. Because back in the context when it was relevant, the reason you wanted to check it out in the first place was if you had more than your fill of the modern style of shooter that had become so saturated thanks to Call of Duty, and just like, being perfectly blunt, sapping all the fun out of the genre in the process.
Yep.
Because
like
even
said, the word that I would use for it is mediocre, and as I said, like, that's normally meant as an insult, but like, this is like a perfect 5 across the board. It doesn't really do anything overly special, but it doesn't do anything terribly either. It's just okay. You know, I can't really think of much more to say about it than that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so I guess this confirms that, Ty Barrett, despite being based on Misty Dawn, not actually voiced by her. Could have fooled me, both her voice actors were pretty bad at it. Also, Matt O'Connor voicing both Terradino and IP Freely, which makes sense, because it really did sound like Freely was just Terradino with a fake British accent.
I'm Terradino, and I'm not Terradino. Can you tell the difference?
I mean, so many of their lines are already the same read anyway.
Yeah, true.
Oh well.
Also, that Rise of the Triad flag, still not good.
Nope, definitely not.
I mean, you could kind of gotten away with it in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
After I'd say about 2010, bit of a faux pas.
Yeah. Also, a little screenshot there with Todd Hollenshed, who I'm pretty sure is I've not heard anything of him doing anything at it in the while, so I'm pretty sure he's left since a few years now or so. But yeah, that was the sort of thing where it's the game got attention, by notable people, including id, which only makes sense since they were able to get some amount of presence at QuakeCon. Special thanks to Misty Dawn. Can't forget her.
Really, special thanks should be in quote marks.
Yeah. And Lee Jackson. you made one of the best goddamn MIDI soundtracks of the mid-90s. The more I've thought about it, as much as I love a lot of the soundtracks from plenty of old 90s shooters and or even 90s PC games in general, it's I really can't think of much else that comes as close to the diversity and style of music in original Rise of the Triad.
Yeah. See, I like games like this that do essentially just straight updates of the majority of the soundtrack, because the new versions tend to sound like what you remember them being in your head, Yeah. You remember them being this epic, rockin', badass soundtrack, then you go back and hear it and it sounds like a couple of idiots plinking away on a Casio keyboard.
Yeah.
And then you hear these versions and you're like, yes, that's how it was in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, a similar feeling as well when it comes to a lot of the original Doom games soundtrack, which is especially funny considering how plagiarist a lot of plagiarist sounding Bobby Prince's tracks were. Which, funny enough, this redone soundtrack done by Andrew Holschultz, just to show even more of what he has in his portfolio, he did his own fan redos of the Doom 1 and Doom 2 soundtracks, and they're basically on this same level.
Didn't he contribute to the...
Blimey, Doug, you're one hell of a good
Yep.
kicker.
Yeah, this is what we'd call the post-credits stinger.
What the hell is that?
It's Thanos!
Ah, shit.
Fire!
Yeah. Turns out El Oscuro really is eternal. Also, no, it's Oscuro, El Oscuro, not Oscuro. I keep wanting to refer to him as Oscuro. I keep seeing him as Dave Autry.
Find a way to put an end to
The
it.
El Oscuro, thank you.
Yeah,
If we're going by
the
Resident Evil
Oscuro.
rules.
Do this thing.
The Dark One. That's basically what you're saying.
The Los Illuminados.
Yeah.
Time to bring
No, again, that's the joke. It's the, because you're saying the Los or the L, and it's
Yeah.
you can't have the one after the other, man. Come on. The hunt continues in your dreams because they never made a sequel to this, and I don't think I would want them. I don't know. I don't know.
Cute.
Maybe I would. It's more conflicted now because I know that obviously it's been 8 years since this game, this came out at the end of August in 2013. Interceptor was just a bunch of new people that had experience doing maps and mods for games, but never anything on the scale of proper game development. Obviously Interceptor, now Slipgate Ironworks, they don't do a lot of their own full in-house game development ideas or whatever, but they do a lot of like support with the other studios that are like associated with new 3D realms. Like again, they helped with Ion Fury is the thing. So like, and that's like, if you're a real big fan of like build engine games, you know, bullshit and all, that is basically the best one of those since the mid 90s. So it's like, if it was them working on it, or at least working closely with other people that have good design chops, especially the people that left this game to work on other stuff and have success elsewhere, then it's like a sequel, or at the very least like another remake, not an upport of this version, but a remake would probably like do a lot better than this did back then, because the growing pains of figuring out how the fuck do we make this would no longer be there.
See, I see no reason that they couldn't, in theory, pull a Doom 2016.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, before that came out, no one was expecting much of anything from the game. And when it came out, it literally astounded people with how good it was. And there's no reason why they couldn't do a reboot/sequel, which, you know, takes the lessons that they learned from this and just turn it around completely.
Yeah. Especially because, but I also think that might also get into like a more tricky question of like, where do you go? It's like, okay, in remaking this, do you still want to be as faithful as you can to like that 90s style of like shooter design that other indie games have gone for? Or do you do like what you brought up with like having a Doom 2016 moment where it's like, it evokes that spirit, but everything from levels and mechanics or whatever are clearly like more modern than it tries to imply. It just goes against the curve of what everyone is used to by what they consider the modern shooter, you know, as defined by like Call of Duty, Halo, like all this other shit. Yeah. Because that could go either way, and I feel like both of those in my head are exciting ideas. I would like a version of this game that did not have the technical patchwork fuckery that this does, but with the same core design. But I also wouldn't mind one that also like took the Doom 2016, or even rather Doom Eternal path, because I really still maintain that game and Ultra Kill are the ones paving the way for like the new style of like action first-person shooters that bridges that gap between like kind of old school shooter sensibilities with the appeal that is there for people that like character action games or fighting games, you know? Like a lot of crazy mechanics for self-expression.
Because, I mean, they now have an opportunity to essentially do everything that they wanted to do back then, but couldn't because of space or technology limitations.
And the experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we are still here. We still have plenty to talk about. There's actually 10 more minutes on the clock. We can keep it going.
Stop trying to do the Ferris Bueller thing. I already did it before we started. Oh shit! Yeah. They are actually. Jesus Christ!
It's almost fucking word for word for what you just said, like prior to us recording.
That's because it was a Ferris Bueller quote.
Yeah, they knew what they were fucking doing.
I am aggravated.
They stole your joke in the past, those assholes. No, you got something. We know it.
Well, that or the next 10 minutes is going to be us filling a lot of awkward silences.
We're gonna be, yeah. If you're not showing anything, we're gonna be having some words for you, Schreiber. I gotta say though, with this video, it's like I'm pretty sure like when I was putting together the footage for this LP, this is actually gonna be the first. This was the first time I've ever actually seen this credits in full, because from the moment it starts with that motion comic right to the very end, it literally is just full on 20 minutes of this bullshit. And the difficult part of it was in another instance of, you guessed it, weird technical fuckery because of their amateurism as developers. sometimes these videos, which are just video files that it pulls from, like big files, it would occasionally, like, how do I put this? It would basically end before it was supposed to, because, again, I think because of frame rate fluctuations or hitches and whatever, and it just causes things to, like, whether, like, even if the video itself isn't speeding up or slowing down, the frame rate or millisecond counters or whatever still are fluctuating a lot, and that kind of causes it after a while to automatically skip at some point.
Yeah.
So that is why I had to go into the game files, extract all of these videos, use the conversion software to translate them to MP4 so I can actually use them in DaVinci Resolve. And then I could actually see what all I missed by the end of this, because this is 20 fucking minutes, like I said.
Just like a little bit there. Close enough.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep fucking up this model even more, and then we'll have Terradino. Yes, that is, yeah, that is Frederick Schreiber, who I've been on occasion constantly referring to. Head of Interceptor, now Slipgate.
File that under images we hope we will never regret.
Yeah.
Oh, too late. It's on the internet.
Yeah. And in all fairness, it does feel like, oh yeah, freaking Facebook. Yeah, just kind of going through like photos of like just what all the dev was doing, kind of around crunch time and like when they were getting ready to go to QuakeCon.
Ooh, Silent Scope.
Yeah. It's like, I think this is one of those things where like, yeah, this dude's got a fucking ton of arcade machines, which is not surprising because I've actually seen like Slipgate, they've been hosting a feature of theirs like every year called Realms Deep, which is basically their online kind of indie first-person shooter kind of convention, like media show-off, basically giving the spotlight for games of this type in the indie community. And so, yeah, like you see bits of their office, and unsurprisingly, they do still have some arcade machines in there. Not the amount that you saw in that warehouse, all of which I'm assuming, like, either Frederick somehow has, like, legitimately acquired those, or he's running some, like, shady deals just to get them. Because that is a lot of fucking cabinets.
Oh, yeah.
But just because of all the games he has, including very good ones, like you mentioned, you saw Silent Scope. There was one that was just showing the demo reel of like, Sega Rally Championship. It's like, I have to imagine that this dude's alright. He at the very least has an appreciation for the arcades. I can respect that. You know? Someone
Very rare
has
in
to.
this day and age.
Yeah, like, someone has to in this day where, like, one by one, they're all starting to close down. I mean, fucking hell, at the time of this recording, like, if it's not happened yet, it definitely will have happened by the time I post this, but, like, the GameWorks in Seattle will have closed down, which was, I had gone there several times during my tenure in Washington State, you know? They had some good stuff.
Well, even I heard of that one.
Mm-hmm. A lot of cool stuff. Some of it obviously not in good condition, considering how long it's been around.
Still go 5 minutes, bro. You're not fooling anyone.
Mm-hmm. Come on, what do you got? It's true, you could have hit escape right now and it would actually just bring you back to the main menu if this was in-game. They're not lying. Of course it's not working. This is the raw video file.
We could have stopped this from happening. Why didn't we stop this from happening?
Oh god, we've made a terrible mistake. Don't press the home button. Not even we know what that does.
But I'm already home.
Hey.
It's gonna take me to double home.
Oh yeah, here it is. Only unreleased song Lee Jackson created for the original game. And depending on what that font, how that font is supposed to render it, I can't tell if it was supposed to be DWD or that other word. Yeah. Thanks for taking the bullet for me.
Someone had to. It looked like DWD to me.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. But yeah, look at that. There's a block out of the room. That cursed level. I think they're even using like stock Unreal Tournament 3 weapons as like the placeholders, because like that design looks so UT3.
Well, it was way more colorful than anything else in the game that's not covered in blood.
True, but also still had a lot of the same technical details. Oh,
well, remember that bit?
Yeah, although the spinning blades in the pit was definitely not in the final version. I know that for a fact. I think it was just replaced with like a lava pit.
Yeah, fairly sure it was lava.
Mm-hmm. But also, this track's pretty good.
It's okay.
It's still very fitting of the original game style. Though I can also kind of see, from that context, and what it sounds like, why it wasn't released as part of with the actual game.
Yeah, it is very generic 90s MIDI pop rock type thing.
Mm-hmm. Terry Newcomb.
It's okay, but there's just nothing about it that really stands out,
Yeah. So, look at that. Prototype of, one of their multiplayer maps.
Which really looks like something from Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
It really does. I'm pretty sure the final version of this map is what they used in a trailer for the game called, because of what games were coming out at the time or had been out, I think Battlefield 4 was on the way and they had a trailer called Fishing in Baku. And so they put out a trailer where it was just raw multiplayer footage with going down the fast way playing, and it was called Jibbing in Baku. Yeah, it was 2013. They weren't above taking their pot shots at the popular modern military shooters, as is the morally right thing to do.
I mean, if you're not, you're supporting it, and if you're supporting it, I don't want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, real zoomed in footage, not even showing what the full HUD looks like. I think this might actually be stuff that they used for one of the trailers, when they first announced it.
They definitely changed the kill streak tally.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that's for multiplayer.
That might have been for multiplayer, yeah.
Let's just look straight into the camera, and then just whenever you guys are ready.
Go ahead, man. It's game technology. Yeah, what is that to say, Technology. Engines, graphics.
That's perfect. We could just use that.
Graphics.
And then that's the end of the episode. What's there to say? Boom.
Explosions.
Yeah.
I wish I could quit you.
Don't worry, we didn't need this game to make me feel old.
I got out of bed this morning and I felt old. My entire skeleton sounds like a bowl of Rice Krispies.
My fucking sciatica is an eternal reminder that I'm only getting older. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this extremely short, extremely casual LP, even though it probably took more effort than a casual LP does because of the editing nonsense I spliced in here and there. But, yeah, even after several months of VTubing as my main form of content, I still got it when it comes to doing Let's Plays. So, yeah. Next one, when that happens, who can know? It probably won't be a video one, though. So... Take care.
That's right, we're going back to cuneiform, motherfucker.
Yeah, back to the days of screenshot LPs. No joke, that's actually what I'm hoping for. If that English translation patch for Rent a Hero #1 on Dreamcast comes out in the next couple months, I am jumping on that shit immediately. Game deserves it.
Oh yeah.
Alright. Take care, everyone.
Later.
Peace.